Hello everybody. All right, we're gonna give it a couple seconds to see if anyone pops in. Hello, Lucy. Trying to get everything all situated with my desktop. My goodness, it's always something when we go live, isn't it? Hello, Parrish, or where, however you identify. Hello, Josie. Welcome. So glad that you're here. All right, friends. All right, I think my sound should be working. If it doesn't work, we'll figure something out. I am trying a microphone today over here, and I am excited to use it. I had a little bit of a issue with technology about 15 minutes ago. I got a new camera and I set it all up, and then I wasn't happy with the way it was functioning, and instead of trying to quickly figure out the settings, I'm like, let's just get our old camera back, which I love my camera. So it's like, I'm kind of in a position where I don't know what I'm going to do, if I'm going to keep it or what I'm going to do, but we'll figure it out. Thank you, Sylvia. I appreciate you for letting me know. Well, I hope everyone is having a fantastic Saturday. I'm realizing right now that I still have to grab some of my Catherine Pooler Designs favorite white cardstock. I think that's my snafu for today's live stream, as I forgot to grab that. So I'm going to grab that off to the side real quickly. And let me see. There's some of it. And I can just cut some pages, no big deal. Ooh, technology, y'all. It's always something. But thank you everybody for being here. We're going to have some fun today. I am putting kind of a different spin on what I usually do. Normally, what I like to do is if there's brand new product that comes out, I'd like to show you guys. It's always great to show it when it first comes out, just because most of us don't have it yet. It's a great way to kind of introduce ourselves to the product before we know if we want to make the plunge and purchase it. Today, though, I am putting a spin on that. So we're going to use some new Catherine Pooler products, but I'm going to use them with some older product as well. And actually, the older product is going to be kind of the predominant part of the card. We're going to use what I like to call craft staples, which those are going to be some of the new products from Catherine Pooler. So things you can kind of use whenever. They don't really have a theme. They're like your papers, your inks, your embellishments, your shimmer, items like that. Those are things that no matter what the release is going to be, you can kind of pull them in. You may also hear me use the term evergreen, which is basically regardless of when it comes out, it's just always there, always something that you can use. Doesn't really have a timeliness to it. And hello, Karen and Barbara and Maria. Hope you guys are all having a wonderful start to your Saturday mornings. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the stamp set that we're going to be using today. So I'm going to switch you guys down to my desktop, and we are going to be playing around today with the Feelin Fizzy stamp set by Catherine Pooler Designs. Now, I did a little bit of research. I've had this stamp set for a while, and I bought it because I just thought it was super fun. And it is super fun, obviously. But this is like a 3-year-old stamp set, I believe. I think it's from like early spring 2023. And when I saw what Catherine Pooler came out with this recent release of extra sprinkles. What's the most recent release? It's slipping my mind, but better with sprinkles. There we go. There are a couple products that came out that I'm like, you know what? I think we can use them with this, and it's going to be really super fun. So let's also talk about the new products that just came out that I want to use today. The first is we have a brand new Catherine Pooler ink in our party collection, and that is Boardwalk. Boardwalk is stunning. I don't have any sort of official details if this is what happened or not, but Catherine Pooler did announce earlier this year that they're retiring about 10 of their colors, and one of the colors that I was so sad that we were losing is All That Jazz, but I think Boardwalk is kind of an updated version of All That Jazz. And when I say updated, I'm sure there's a lot behind the scenes that goes into it. There's probably a change in saturation with the color. There may even be a formula change with it. Over time, technology improves, and some of our colors and some of our products can just simply be updated. So I was really excited to see, because when Boardwalk came out, that it looks like fairly comparable to our All That Jazz that was retired. So I'm really excited to use this. The other products that came out that are new that we're going to use, I have this new Oh Boy Shimmer. So we're going to be using that. Let me bring it a little closer so you can see. It's hard for it to focus appropriately because there's so much shine on this label. But yeah, I really think this is pretty. So we're going to use this for our card. We're also going to pull in some of the brand new Party Blue enamel dots. These are your standard Party Blues. I don't officially know the colors, but I could take a whack at it. My guess is this is Dress Blues. This is probably something borrowed, and I can tell you that this is either going to be Oh Boy or Blue Raspberry. I just don't know which of the two, but we're going to play around with that as well. And today we are going to be making a Father's Day card, or at least a card for dad, which I feel like is perfect for Father's Day. It could be for his birthday, it could be for Father's Day, it could be just because. And I do want to talk for a second just about when Mother's Day and Father's Day come up. They can be tough holidays for some people, and I just want you to know I'm here for you, and I entirely understand that Father's Day and Mother's Day, they can be celebratory, they can be somber, they can be reflective, and we may have different parental figures in our life that maybe they're not our biological parents, but we've had a step parent that has really stepped in and taken on the role, or we have a father or mother figure that maybe we found in a friend's parent that really was there for us over the years. So whatever your situation is, please know, like, I totally understand if it's not a day that's all for you, but I also like to think about that a lot of us do also find ways to celebrate different people and at different occasions. So maybe you'll pick up some things today that even if a Father's Day card may not be something that you're looking to make, maybe this can be a special card that you can create for some special guy in your life or a friend or whatever. So we're going to go in, let's start getting this ready. And what I'm going to do, what do we want to start with? What I wanted to do today was do some ombre stamping. And we're going to start by kind of getting our bottles ready. And I'm just going to do 2 bottles. I'm going to have to do a little bit of trimming as well. So I'm going to take some Catherine Pooler cardstock. This is the favorite white cardstock. And I'm going to trim this down to, about A2 size, we'll say. Best I can. I always trim my letter size paper in A2 size because I feel like it just is the appropriate way to trim it down and how I use it the most. So we're going to take a quarter of a letter size. Oh, we got it. We did not drop it all the way. I tell you, it's always something. All right, so we're going to put this back just like that. Put this in there. All right, and then we're going to put our paper into our MISTI, and I want to start by stamping out our bottles. Now, we're going to kind of dive into our colors that we're going to use. And for our bottles, I am going to use Blackjack, which is a fairly dark gray, part of the neutral collection. And we're going to use Blackjack because I like using it over black, over Midnight, which is the Catherine Pooler color for what they consider black would be. So we're going to use this, and I'm going to stamp out 2 bottles in the outlines using the Blackjack ink. And if anyone has any questions along the way, please do not hesitate to pop it into the comments below. All right. So we're going to go in. These are very pretty colors. Very, very pretty. I agree with what Barbara said. All right, let's put that off to the side for now. Oh, put it right back in here. All right, so then I've got my 2 bottles, and I'm just going to kind of line them up. Oh, happy to see you too, Susan. Thanks for being here. All right, so we're going to put these 2 bottles just like this. And we're going to pick them up with our MISTI, and of course our paper comes with it. That's okay. These stamps are not conditioned yet, so we'll spend some time doing that so we don't get any of this pickup. Oh yes, looking forward to card. Card, I agree. Card can be, we're going to look at it as like a verb. It could be a noun. And I'm rubbing my fingers on my stamps just because this is the first time I'm using them. And I'm trying to kind of lightly take off that coating that's on photopolymer stamps when you first get them. And this is going to make the impression just go nice and easy. So using that Blackjack ink, I'm going to put it onto our stamps. Now we are going to use these stamps as like soda bottles, but I know you could use them as beer bottles too, which, hey, depending on the dad, some dad just likes a cold one during a hot summer day, you know? All right, so we'll stamp those out. Perfect. All right, so we'll put Blackjack to the side. I don't even know if I'm going to be using it for the rest of this live, so stay tuned. All right, so now what we're going to do is let's do a little bit of cleanup. I like to clean up when I'm crafting kind of along the way, just because it kind of helps me keep track of all of my product, especially little stamps. I like my stamps immediately when I'm done with them to go back onto their photopolymer sheets. I don't want them sitting around where I could, one, possibly lose them, or two, have them end up in an area that they start getting like fuzzies on them that you got to wash them. So just my 2 cents. All right, so that one's down. Let's start with this bottle first. So part of today's live is that I wanted to go over what I call ombre stamping. And ombre stamping is using multiple colors together to get a multicolored effect. Ombre to me means like transitions of colors. A lot of times you can see rainbows like that. I actually, if you were on our live stream last week where we made that beautiful card using Pink and Main products, no, that was not that live. That was 2 lives ago. I think I did some ombre stamping with the sentiment. It was our waffle flower live, I believe. So anyways, what we're going to do is we're going to line the stamp up in the bottle. That's why I'm using a Misty. It's going to help me position it. That looks pretty good. And we're going to pick it up. You make sure to condition it just a little bit. All right. Then make sure it still lines up. That looks pretty good. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take that Boardwalk ink and I'm gonna do let's do a 3-color blend. So we're gonna do a soda that's Boardwalk to Lime Rickey to Tiara, and it's all gonna sort of fade up, but we're gonna start with Boardwalk ink on the bottom. Because my key today is I really wanna feature Boardwalk as much as we can. It's brand new. I really love this ink color. I think it's super fun. So what I'm gonna do is just sort of about a third-ish, a third and a little bit more, the way up the side of this bottle, and it's more like half. We're gonna put this Boardwalk ink, and then I am gonna take a blue blending brush and just sort of pat it, just so it kind of blends. I'm kind of looking, I might need to do a little bit more. It's looking a little splotchy, probably because it's a newer stamp. That's okay. It really is a fun color combo. I'm excited to see how it turns out, Barbara. All right, so I'm gonna stamp it just like this. So I'm going to press it down and to see how it kind of feathers up a little bit. I'm looking, that's pretty good. I was worried it was gonna be a little outside the bottle, but I think we did a good job. All right, now what's important is you're gonna wanna clean your stamp off before you go on to another color. So I'm going to just kind of lightly clean it with some water and then move on to our next color, which is going to be Lime Rickey. And Lime Rickey is going to be kind of on the middle third-ish. I keep saying ish because it's going to go a little beyond a third. Kind of more like between a third and a half, just to get our coverage. And now once I have my Lime Rickey appropriately placed onto my stamp, I'm gonna feather that out just using my blending brush. These are the regular Catherine Pooler blending brushes. They're a little on the smaller side. So just be aware of that when you see them. See, they're kind of on small when compared to their large brush. So you can see that there's definitely a difference. So I'm gonna sort of pat this out and then we're going to stamp it just like that. Press it down, getting a good impression. Paper wants to go with it, that's okay. And see how we're getting that ombre look where we're getting our Boardwalk ink and it's starting to transition into that Lime Rickey color. It is so pretty. And I just thought it'd be really fun. Like, I know if I was at like a soda shop or just like a convenience store and I saw bottles of soda that looked like this, that it would be super fun. Megan is here. Hello. Thank you for stopping by. Megan's probably going to get a message from me sometime soon to hear about my tech problems I had, but I am wearing a microphone, Megan. Please be proud. All right, and then we're going to finish this bottle using some Tiara ink. And, ooh, I must have re-inked this recently and forgot about it. So we're going to just kind of stamp that from the top of the bottle down about a third or so. I keep saying ish. Yeah, and this one we're going to definitely want to give a little bit of love to with our brush, just because I can tell it's nice and juicy. It's really cool. These colors work really nicely together. We're going to do 2 different bottles of different ombres just to help get some fun color effects. But wouldn't this be a fun soda to like see on a shelf? I just think it's super fun. And the colors are this one are pretty summery. So I like that. All right, so we're gonna pop that, and here you can see we've got our little Boardwalk to Tiara ombre all pretty and ready to go. So I'm just going to put that to the side and let's clean off our stamp. And sound great. Thank you, friend. I tell you, I always get nervous when it comes to new technology. Always something. Always something. All right, so we're going to put, I speak fluent-ish, totally understand. Susan, I love that. I use ish all the time, and I'm glad that you understand what ish means, because ish doesn't really have an explanation. Ish is just ish. Ish is about, you know? All right, so let's stamp our second bottle. This one is definitely, I think, a little bit more like beer bottle oriented, but that's okay. We're not going to necessarily do beer, but you could totally do it on your own if you wanted to. I just really wanted to lean into the soda theme of this stamp set. So we're going to go in. Let's see, that should be about perfectly lined up. And I should really condition this. And we're going to do a different ombre, but it's still going to use Boardwalk colors. So what we're going to do for this one is we're going to do Boardwalk is like we do it as the middle tone. And we're going to start with purple. So I've got, for this one, we're going to do Grape Crush, Boardwalk, and then we're also going to do In the Park. And I just think these 3 colors together would also make a really pretty soda. What I also like about this is the way that I'm going to layer these 2 soda bottles together. The Grape Crush is going to be on the bottom, so it's not going to conflict at all with the Tiara, which would be like kind of opposite on the color wheel. And the color wheel is really kind of something you're going to want to lean into when figuring out what inks are going to nicely line up with one another. Because purple, this is basically what Grape Crush is, it's a purple, is going to lay really nicely next to reds, pinks, and blues. So that's why we're going to lean it into that Boardwalk color. All right, let me see. Starbucks has a new ombre drink called the Butterfly Refresher. I asked them the flavor and they couldn't really tell me. It looked so appealing. I'll ask my husband, Leela. My husband works for the Siren, so I actually was just in the drive-thru yesterday with him on speakerphone, and I was like, what do I order? And he told me, because I'm not really a refresher person, but I didn't want coffee. And he said all of their iced teas are not sweetened. So he said, why don't I try to get a, not matcha, green tea iced, but then get it with their coconut syrup. And so I did that, but I misunderstood what he said because he also thought I was going to get lemonade, and that would be delightful. Now, what I had was, it was still good. I don't know if I would necessarily order it that way again, but it was definitely refreshing and gave me the feel that like I was on vacation, which, hey, we can't complain about being on vacation. All right, this one, this I have to make sure. I think I'm in the right spot with it, but we'll figure it out. All right, let's clean this up a little bit. It's definitely a fun new technique to learn. I agree, Kristen. Sandy says ish is almost. Yeah, I would say that would be the perfect way to describe it. All right, so we've got our Grape Crush. Now we're going to go with some Boardwalk. Okay, so Leela, I was going to save this part of the conversation for later. Going in with my Boardwalk ink, I'm going to have to take a little bit off the top. So we are obviously doing soda pop crafting today. And for 2025, my New Year's resolution was, I'm going to have to wipe a little bit of this off, to give up soda. So this set is like really kind of, I love this set, but it's also kind of bittersweet because I have like a love story with soda. And I gave it up because I was drinking just way too much of it. And I drink a lot of iced tea now as well as kind of like a substitute. So, all right, so we're going to press this down. Just kind of make sure you get those colors all nice and good. Awesome. And then we are going to finish off with a little bit of In the Park on the top. All right, let's see. Now these bottles, you are going to want to try and get it as centered as possible. You're going to see that mine is not perfectly centered, and we're just going to correct that later on by the way that we layer these two stamps together, and you're not even going to notice. But still, you want to just kind of make sure that, you have everything laid out the way that you want. All right, so we're using that In the Park ink on the top third-ish. Iced oolong. Melanie's back. Melanie's back with some good memories from Japan. So iced oolong or boba, all the things. When we went to Japan and I would order iced tea, some places would be like, oh, iced tea, and they knew what it was. Then other places I'd order iced tea and they were like, iced tea, and I'd be like, iced oolong, and they'd be like, oh, iced oolong. And so that was kind of like our inside joke. And because we had that with boba too. All right, so here we've got our two sodas with these really pretty ombres. I love how these look. So we're gonna set these aside for now and do a little bit more stamping just to get some other elements ready for our card. So I'm just gonna kind of put my little brushes away, just like that. And let's see, let's clean up this stamp. Now, one thing I always like to point out about Catherine Pooler stamps, and this isn't a problem, but it's something that I never want to surprise somebody with. Some of the darker colors of Catherine Pooler inks, particularly colors I found that have reds in them, so purples and pinks, sometimes even some of the blues, there is a staining quality to the stamps, so you just kind of want to be aware of that. So you can see there's a little bit of a stain from the Grape Crush on my stamp. It still stamps the same, so I think that'll work just fine, but I still like to point it out. All right, let's do a little bit more stamping. I do want to get a couple straws die cut. I think that would be fun to have that. So we're going to do 2 straws, and we're going to stamp them in Orange Crush. Now, the only thing I don't love about stamping long stamps is that I always worry that I'm not going to have them line up perfectly, because I don't want them to be super wonky. So let's just I try to be very gentle and then just kind of let them fall into place. So we're going to do some Orange Crush colored straws. Ah! No, I hate that noise. All right. It is definitely unnecessary sugar, Leela, and it's like, people have said, like, why don't you do diet? And I'm just like, I don't know, because I feel like that's not the problem to an extent. Like, it's a lot of sugar, but also I would go out to eat and I would have like 3 refills. So that's 4 glasses of like soda because I just loved it so much. And I'm like, I just feel like we need to not do that. Oh, with sparkly waters mixed with a touch of juice. That sounds really refreshing, Barbara. We got, oh my gosh, so the other day, Melanie's here because she was there. Our friend had a birthday party for her dog. Her dog turned 14 on the 14th. And we went for the party and it wasn't listed as BYOB, but we did. We usually do. And I let my husband pick whatever he wanted, and we were in the refrigerated section of like the alcohol portion of a grocery store. And I'm like, pick whatever you want. And here I am thinking like, oh, he's going to pick like a spiked lemonade or a cider. And he finds this like sparkling water that it was literally listed as unique Asian flavors. And then there was also advertised that said no weird aftertaste. And we were just like, okay. He's like, we'll get this. And I'm like, well, that's what we're getting then. So we got that. We brought it. It had flavors of yuzu, lychee, mandarin, and there was one other one, Asian pear. Those were the flavors. We got home from the event and we only both had like one while we were there. And so we kept the rest of them. We brought it back with us. And the other day he went and had a yuzu one and he took like 1 sip and he's like, this tastes like beer. You can have this. And I'm like, okay. So that was what I did. Now, also, all the products used in today's live are listed in the comments below. I also have a link pinned to the chat, so you can use that to sort of ease into a little bit of shopping if you're feeling like doing that. Whatever floats your fancy. All right. Melanie says, I line up long stamps with the grid on the top of the Misty. Smart girl. Smart. That's probably what I should have done. right, so we'll do a little bit of cleanup. So we're going to have these orange straws. All right, and then what are we going to do? Let's do a couple bottle caps. And I'm not going to do ombre bottle caps. We're going to do solid colors. We'll do one, and then we're also going to do a sentiment. So I'm going to stamp another sentiment in Grape Crush. Let's see, we're going to do You're a Classic. We're going to do this in Grape Crush. So let's do that first. Just like this. Just trying to use all of our colors. I agree, Susan. Catherine Pooler inks are really one of my absolute favorites on the market. There's such a wide collection, and I love how they're organized, that there is party, that there is spa, and they really, like, once you understand what the difference between the two of them is, it makes a lot of sense. And then there's also the neutral. She recently did her pigment metallic colors, so really exciting. I love the inks a lot. So we're going to stamp that out. This is, like I said, that Grape Crush color. Good morning, Pirate Lady. I've never liked soda and I can't have kit feet, so I drink a lot of water. Hey, water's good. Water is really like what we're supposed to be drinking. So I support that. All right. Passion with banana cold foam. Ooh, Kristen. Okay. That's an interesting combo that really sounds like it would be tasty. You might be onto something there. All right, so we got You're a Classic. And then let's do... Oh, I want to do a bottle cap. Maybe we will do an ombre. We'll have one that says, Here's to You. You're a Classic, here's to you. All right, so let's do... But I want it easy to read. So what are we going to do? Maybe we'll do just kind of yellow on the tops. We'll do our tiara just sort of up here. And then we'll tap it off. Stamp that out. All right, and then let's finish out. We'll do a little bit of cleaning. Then we'll stamp the bottom portion. Just like that. And I want it to be mostly orange, but a little bit of a tinge of this tiara color sounds lovely. All right. So we're just going to stamp that out. Here's to You, because I still want that to be easy to read. Sometimes stamping in yellow, it's not the most legible color, but I think that's pretty good. So we've got our Here's to You, and I think what we can do is move on to a little bit of die cutting. I don't have too much ink work left. A little bit of ink blending in a little bit, but let's do some die cutting. Clean off our stamp. Had to take a call, came back, and so much fun. Oh, thank you, Megan. I read the comment before I read who it was. I was like, sometimes I do that. I just read the comment, and then I'm like, oh, wait, I should know who's saying it. So yeah, lots of fun colors. Really a fun technique. Definitely going to have to spend some time with my new setup just to make sure everything is working appropriately, because I went into like low-key panic mode when when everything wasn't working the way that I wanted it to. And I'm like, you know what? We're going to revert back to like the trusted way that we know to do this right now, and we can always set it up later. All right, so what we're going to do is let's use some of these bottle die cuts. So use the coordinating dies for the Feelin Fizzy stamp set. And that is not the one that I need, because I'm looking at it, I'm like, why is this not fitting? It's because there's two that are kind of similar in shape, but different in sizes. All right. So we're just going to use those coordinating dies as a coordinating die is used. So I'm just going to kind of tack it down. I was going to originally, there is a stamp in there that says You're the Tops Pop, or Top Pop, You're the Tops. That's what it is. But it didn't have a coordinating die, and I didn't really have a die that I could put it on that I felt like thrilled with. So I'm like, you know what? We're going to pivot and we're going to make this like a classic sort of soda shop card for dad. And honestly, this is probably going to be given to either my dad or my father-in-law tonight. My in-laws are actually, my husband is picking them up right now in downtown Chicago. They take the train in. They're going to do a little bit of eating and shopping. And then I'm doing a live stream with y'all, of course. And after that, I'm going to get my post live stream stuff ready. I have to get something to eat. I was going to eat. I thought I had enough time. And then technology chaos happened. But we are okay now. And then let's do our bottle cap. So I'm just going to kind of line that up best I can. There we go. All right. Just going to kind of keep going. So we're going to tonight, our original plan was we were going to do a barbecue at our house for our dads, but timing didn't really work out for that the way that we had hoped. So we're going out to dinner. My parents live kind of far away from us. They live about an hour away, but there's a restaurant in a town near them that's like a supper club, and they have delicious dessert. They're known for like their desserts. They're also known for like, I think it's their fried chicken and their prime rib. So we're gonna go there for dinner. That's gonna be right up my, I'm gonna have to turn that sound off on my computer. Let's see. There we go. I like to have my sound on in the beginning of the live stream because I like to hear the music. This needs to get moved because this could be a problem if it falls. There we go. All right, so let's pop these out. But I like to have the sound on because I like to hear the music. It kind of gives me a clue as to like how close we are to starting. But then I forget to turn it off naturally. All right, so we've got our one straw. I don't know how I'm going to layer those. If I'm going to do like the straw. No, we're not going to do it like that, but we'll figure it out. All right, now I just got to cut out the other straw. But yeah, I am giving myself limited crafting time this weekend. I have been kind of crafting up a storm. Always, always, always. And I wanted to kind of work ahead so that I could take a little bit of a break this weekend while spending time with family because, well, of course, you got to spend time with family. So we're going to do that. We've had a lot of socializing plans lately too, so it'll be nice to have fun. What kind of desserts? So mostly pie is what they have. And they usually have like 8 flavors of pie or types of pie, if not more. But they also, and this is what I order, they have like homemade brownies a la mode. And that is like my ultimate when it comes to desserts. If I'm not getting a good slice of cheesecake, I want like a cookie or brownie sundae. That's me. So that's what they have there. I know from being there before that it is quite delightful for the food. Usually my dad will get like apple pie. My mom has gotten like coconut cream pie. I don't remember what Corey got the last time he was there. He might have gotten like a peanut butter pie. But regardless, delicious, delicious. But it's far. It's going to take us like 50 minutes to get there. And then my mom is like, you should let your in-laws know that there are antique stores nearby. And I'm just like, oh, no more antiquing. Brownie sundae, sign me up. See? What your colors remind me when I was a kid very long time ago. We drank lime phosphates at the soda shop. I'm sure they were really cool in color. I kind of wanted to lean into like colorful soda. I mean, obviously colorful sodas. They might now have been very healthy. That's true. Who knows what was in them? You never know. Recipes change over times too. So, all right. So we've got our images. We might do a little bit more. We might do a little bit of embellishment. So I want to kind of walk through what I have, like a gist of what I want to make. So I grabbed a piece of pattern paper. This is from the Farm Fresh pattern paper collection. So not from this most recent release. This is from maybe 3 releases ago. It was either February or March. I think it was February. And then I also have a die cut rounded edge rectangle from the Ruffles and Dashes stamp set. So we're gonna, or die set. So we're gonna use that. We're gonna layer our soda bottles so that they're like, I don't know how we're gonna do them. We're gonna figure this out. But it's gonna be kind of maybe like this. And then we're gonna have like, you're a classic. And then we're gonna do our bottle cap, but we might do a couple more embellishments. We gotta do a little bit of ink blending as well. But we're gonna get there. We're getting there. So for our ink blending, I'm gonna pull in some Garden Party ink and a Simon Hurley blending brush. So Chicago has some of the best food. How they really do. Your family lives in Wrigleyville. When we come to Chicago all the time, and I love it. Chicago really is, we're very spoiled. We have a fantastic scene of things to enjoy. I mean, when it comes to cities in the US, I mean, there's a bunch of cities that are absolutely amazing, but I always feel like the top three, Chicago, New York, and Los Angeles, offer kind of guaranteed good eats, you know. I mean, and don't get me wrong, every one of those cities has something that either is going to make it like one of your all-time favorites or traits that you may not love at all, because like I've had people before that have been like, I hate Los Angeles. I don't know how. I love California, I love New York. I mean, I have not really been to a city, like a large scale city, that I dislike. I usually can find something there that I enjoy doing, but to each their own. I also think that when people say it like that, I'm like, well, be polite, because people choose to live there, and it's like, and they might not like where you live. So I don't know. Just my 2 cents. We were in Chicago last week. Yep. And did not have enough time to eat all the food. There's such good food. Oh, seeing Heather San Diego. San Diego food is some of my favorite. You have some of like the best Mexican food amongst other things. But San Diego, if I'm traveling somewhere in the US, my three favorite cities, and one of them's not really a city, one of them's more of a destination, and that would be Orlando, because that's if I'm going to go to Disney. I would say Orlando, San Diego, and New York City are my three favorites. All right, so I'm just going in with that Garden Party. I might even go into with a little bit of Boardwalk. We'll see. Just to kind of give it a little bit of a darker edge. Oh yes, Lincoln Park Zoo, definitely free. A great choice. All right. So I'm just kind of blending enough that it's sort of lightly coloring our background. You know what we might do is we might actually just go in and stamp this background with some of the stamps that are included with our set. So let's see. So I've got this. We're going to layer it like that. That's perfect. And now, how do I want to layer this? Because I could also do it like that. That's kind of, yeah. See, I'm kind of just kind of continually repositioning things and figuring out where I want for everything to go. Yeah, we're getting there. All right, so let's put that to the side. Let's do a little more stamping. That Garden Party ink is really a pretty color, and it works really nicely with all of the colors that we've selected. So what I'm going to do is, how about we stamp out some bubbles? I think that would be pretty. And I'm going to use an acrylic block. I hate that sound, but that's okay. All right, so we're going to stamp out some bubbles just to sort of dress this up. And I'm going to see if stamping them in Garden Party is going to be dark enough. I spent Januaries in Orlando, escaped from Nashville weather. Nashville cold doesn't work for me. Hey, that's okay. We just went to Orlando in February, and honest to God, it was the perfect weather. Oh my gosh. It set the pace for us for like really high expectations in future trips because the weather was just so perfect. All right, go in. That's okay, T. Thanks for stopping by. Better late than never. And you can always catch a replay too. Right, so just kind of stamping out some of these bubbles. I don't want to do too many bubbles. Just enough to kind of embellish that background. And then we're gonna also go in with, there's a second pattern of bubbles. And I really like the tone-on-tone stamping of using the Garden Party ink as a stamping ink in addition to using it as a blending ink, because you get two different sort of ways to see it. It also does a really good job showing that when you blend colors, they are lighter than the ink pad itself. So, fun, fun. All right, so we're gonna keep going. Now, I know that this release, Better with Sprinkles, has a lot of ice cream inspiration. And if you are looking for some ice cream inspiration, I do have a video using the new release on my channel that was released on Wednesday's release day. So definitely check that out if you want to see other products and how they're used. Because I do use that Build a Sunday die set. And I also use the Ice Cream You Scream pattern paper pad. I was going to use the pattern paper today, but when I was going through my collection, I saw this Farm Fresh pattern. And I was like, you know what? We're going to do this because we're going to use some of our favorite older products with some of our favorite newer products and really just combine them today like we talked about. All right, I love these bubbles. All right, we're going to do one more. Let's see, wipe that off. And then maybe we'll do one more stamp. All right, let's put this. Thank you so much, Kristen. I thought it was a cute card. I liked how it turned out. We're also going to use one of these little retro bursts. There's probably an official name for it, but I think it would be a cute little stamp to put like between the bubble bursts. It almost kind of looks like a popped bubble too. I also probably could have stamped them in Tiara. That could have been pretty. I'm just kind of filling it in anywhere there's a gap. Just like that. I also have my dog Winnie is in here with me. She's sunbathing. She is we call her our little girl. All right, just kind of keep on stamping to build that background. I don't know if I'm going to say this and it's going to be like something that like, well, now I can't unsee it, but this is almost giving me like bubble bath vibes. I don't know, but it's pretty. All right, let's do one right here and then one right there. Awesome. Love it. Oh, thank you so much, T. You guys are so sweet. I appreciate all the kind words. All right, let's put this away. And then let's see. Let's do it like that. We gotta figure out what I want for breakfast today, too. This breakfast has got to come after this because I am gonna be hungry. All right, so let's do a little bit of splattering as well. So I am going to shake our Oh Boy Shimmer. We'll use that as a background splatter. And I think that this will work nicely, even though that we're predominantly working with blue greens. I think the Oh Boy Shimmer is light enough that it could be seen as either a blue or a blue green. All right. So splatter that. Yeah. You know what? Probably with the way the shimmer will dry, it'll pull in some of the green from the background. I don't know what my dog is doing. My goodness. She just decided that I was too boring for her and she didn't want to hear about how to make a card anymore. That's okay. Clean off my brush. I always say using a clean watercolor brush just because you don't want to cross-contaminate your colors. So just make sure that you are having a clean brush to work with. All right, so we've got our paper. This has got to dry. We're going to put it on top of this. Oh, that's so fun. Okay. And now just kind of working with how we're going to layer this. So I kind of want to do We're going to layer these like that. And then we're going to do your classic up here. Oh, that's perfect. Okay. So I think we can kind of start moving into some assembly while that's drying. So let's do some liquid adhesive. Oh, this is gonna, there we go. There we go. Don't overdo it, Justin. All right. So we're gonna do like that. Just sort of two clinking bottles. That'll go over here. Perfect. And then I do want to kind of use our straws behind them just as like a little extra embellishment. So we'll do like, ma'am, no, you're fine. Well, I don't know if I love that. Or if I could just like easily cross them. That could be cute. Sort of do them like that. Love that. Okay, we're gonna do like a little bit of a crisscross with them. I don't want it to look like they're going into the bottles. I kind of want it to make it look like it's more layered behind it. And the reason for that is if it went into the bottles, we would see them. So I'd rather give a layered look. So we're gonna do that. Just gonna kind of keep it going. I also thought too, so I don't know about you guys, if you like, when you think of straws, do you think of like red and white stripes like me, almost like candy cane? I think about that. But I didn't want to incorporate red with this because I didn't think it was going to fit into our color scheme really nicely. So that's why I decided to do the colors that I chose. I thought it worked nicely with a Father's Day or kind of a masculine-ish color palette. I know we're using purple, but I don't consider purple a feminine color. Honestly, like the only color I try to avoid when using a masculine card for the most part is pink. And if you found a color palette that you could incorporate pink with, like maybe even using like a black and like a gray, and like you could really still use pink and like have masculine vibes with it. So, all right, so we're gonna do our sodas and our straws, and then it's gonna say you're a classic. Just like that. Straws can be any color. That's true, Pirate Lady. They could be any color. I think of the classic red ones, though, red and white. I don't know why. I just do. Let's do a little bit of foam tape on the back. All right. Just kind of add that in. See, what I love about Catherine Pooler cards is they're quick and easy. For the most part, I mean, you can make them more complicated and like more detailed, which by all means, those are the cards that are going to also turn out absolutely stunning. But Catherine Pooler products definitely have a quality to them that you could create a card quickly if you needed, because it's a lot of silhouette stamping, and silhouette stamping takes the guesswork out of having to color something. Now, we could have colored up these bottles of soda and it would have been really pretty, so if you had the time to do it, but you at least have the option that if you want to stamp out the soda itself, you can. And that's obviously what we did. We put our own little ombre twist on it, which I think is fun. Let me see, we'll trim that off. Let's trim back just because I don't want the side of the straw coming out. Perfect. All right, push this off to the side. Hello, Sherry. Thanks for being here. I agree, T. Really retro. Really, really retro looking. All right, so we're going to go in. Let's put some liquid adhesive on the back of our card panel. Now, I have a question. This is inspired by my friend Melanie, who was in the chat, because she sent me a text message the other day, just randomly out of the blue, to which I responded, and she never texted me back, but that's okay. And she asked, why do you call it liquid adhesive and not glue? So I'm curious. One, in the comments, let me know. Do you refer to your liquid adhesive as a liquid adhesive, or do you call it glue? And two, why do you call it what you do? I know that's kind of like a weird question, but like I had to kind of think about it. Now, as a crafter doing live streams, I feel like it's easier for when I'm doing demonstrations to call something like a liquid adhesive or a dry adhesive or like a tape runner. And also too, I use my glue of choice is iCraft Ultra Bond adhesive. So it's called adhesive. I guess it's not called liquid adhesive, but it is a liquid. So I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you guys call your adhesives. All right. So we're going to do our little soda bottles off to the side. I know, like I said, I know that's kind of a weird question to like think about, but I hadn't really been asked that before. All right, so we're going to put our soda bottles. I kind of want them to go a little off to the side. Like that. Perfect. Glue. Okay. Kristen calls it glue because she's a teacher. Leela says glue, but she's from Montana and some words are regional. Pirate Lady also calls it glue. So maybe I'm in the minority here. That's okay. Listen, up until I started paper crafting, I've always called it glue. But then since I've started doing more demonstrations, I've just felt like calling it liquid adhesive makes more sense. T says either. Pirate Lady doesn't know why. Jan is glue because it is wet. Okay, okay. You know what? To each their own. Because glue is a lot easier to say. Liquid adhesive sounds nicer. I agree, Megan. I do think it sounds nicer. But I was asked that and I'm like, well, I don't know. I'm like, I guess I really don't have an explanation aside from it's just what I do. I do know though with doing demonstrations that often there's talk between like liquid and dry adhesives, so it definitely helps. All right, let's do You're a Classic. We're going to do it kind of up here. Just like that. Perfect. And then let's do our bottle cap. And we're going to do it right here that says here's to you. We'll do a little bit of overlap. Just because I like overlapping my dies when I can. Do a little bit of liquid adhesive. Liquid adhesive because I used to just use tape runners and I called them adhesive. Okay, Susan, that's actually very interesting that you bring that up because when I started doing my paper crafting and making cards, I walked into a store and I basically asked somebody like, what do I need to get started? And they told me to use, and at the time it was a tape runner from ThermoWeb. And I didn't know what ThermoWeb was at the time, but it was like I had this thing in my stash forever and I was like, oh my gosh, this is a ThermoWeb product. But I also used to just use tape runner and I used to not use glue at all. So, ma'am, you have already been out. You can wait till I'm done. You're okay. These little fur children. All right. So we've got You're a Classic, here's to you. Now let's add a couple enamel dots. And I might also go in and add a couple sequins too. We'll see how I feel. All right, so let's do, I'm gonna use these light blue ones. Do two there. And then let's also do one right there. Let's see, that's really pretty. And it's really coming together kind of quickly. I kind of thought it would take a little longer. So we're going to do just those 3 enamel dots to give a little bit of a pop of blue. But what I'm also going to do is I'm going to pull in one of my staple products that I use from Catherine Pooler all the times. And that is their Crater Lake Sequin Mix, which I love. It is just an iridescent sequin mix. So we're going to use some of these because they go with everything. But I don't want to use too many. So let's see. Let's do... I think she's getting mad because I blocked her out and she can't get over to me. That's okay. She'll be okay. And now I'm breaking my rule of not doing embellishments until it's on my card base, but that's all right. Oh, you guys are all so nice. Thank you so much. Like I said, super easy, not a lot going on with it, but enough that it's really pretty. Enough, or handsome for dad. Maybe pretty is not the word we're going for. All right. And I also like to work in odd numbers with my embellishments. So we're going to kind of just add this. Yeah, this was enough because I didn't know if I wanted to stamp more images and sort of die cut them and use them. But I was like, you know what? Oh, we're going to do one more enamel dot, I think. And then we're going to kind of mix embellishments. I think that would be pretty. Let me see. I'm going to use this tray from Glassboard Studios. This is an easy way to keep things organized. All right, get it all in there. And then it just kind of nicely can tap it all to go right in. Perfect. Let's do one more enamel dot. Does it say the colors on the back? It doesn't. But I still think that it's probably, my guess is oh boy, but it could be blue raspberry. Who knows? All right, we'll do it like that. And this has just got to get popped onto a card base. Megan says, is this Corey's fur baby Father's Day card? No, it's probably, it's going to be for one of our dads. We're seeing them both tonight. And actually I have this card, and then I have another card that I had made using some waffle flower products earlier in the year. That's going to be for the other dad. I don't know which one, if this is going to go for mine or for Corey's dad, but this is getting handed out today, so I better photograph it. It really is a good design for anyone, Sylvia. I agree. All right, so we're just going to kind of bump this into place. Super easy. Y'all, this is for our live streams together. This came together pretty quick. I love that. All right, let me see. So I've got this using the products that we used from today's video, live stream, whatever we want to call it. But it also comes from this week's Catherine Pooler release as well. So we did use that Boardwalk ink as sort of the base for our soda in our yellow blend or Tiara blend. And then for our Grape Crush, we used it as the mid-tone. We also used the new Party Blues enamel dots along with the Oh Boy Shimmers to build up our background. But we also pulled in some old favorites as well. We used a lot of inks that are not new. Inks are definitely something that don't really retire too quickly. They're usually on the market for quite a bit until they do. We pulled in the Feelin Fizzy stamp set, which is where all of our little elements came from that pulled this together. And we also used the Farm Fresh pattern paper collection as that background element. Even though it's got a little bit of a farm vibe to it, I think there's also a retroness to it too. So I don't know, it's your card. You do what you want. I loved how it turned out. All right, let's see. Well, we got some comments in here. We got Susan say, I've never effectively used two sets of words on a card front. I appreciate what you did. I'll be practicing that. Definitely look, Susan. It's really easy sometimes with some sets. Catherine Pooler sets are really good with it, that you're able to kind of stack sentiments nicely. And you know what? Like usually if you have one that's like occasion specific and one that's like general, just like love you specific or just like encouragement specific, or encouragement, maybe we should say like encouragement vague or something. It'll work really nicely. Now, I did also want to share with you guys, let me see what I got over here. I've got some of my new release cards from the Catherine Pooler release. We've got the new Birthday Banter Sentiment set with the Ice Cream You Scream pattern paper as well. And I stamped out the sentiments in the new Boardwalk ink, of course. This is the card that I made for Wednesday's release video. Super, super fun. We use that the new layered sprinkle background to make that really fun, colorful, sprinkled sort of effect for our card. And then the last card, I always like to give you guys a little bit of a sneak peek. This is the card that I'll be sharing tomorrow that I also made using the release products this month. So these were really fun to make. A lot of ice cream vibes going on. So I just thought it'd be fun to throw in something that was a different sort of vibe. So thank you guys so much for all of your kind words. You are wonderful, and I appreciate you all for being here. It's definitely fun, Megan. I love it too. So we will be back next week. We're going to switch this over to my face. So we're going to do... All right, next week, I will be back next week on Saturday, which is, if today's the 20th, I think that would make that the 27th. And we're going to do some fun crafting with the new Pretty Pink Posh release. If you guys didn't see, Pretty Pink Posh just came out with a brand new release this week as well on the 15th. It is all summery and kind of tropical theme. And if you love your summer cocktails, you're going to need this set. It is so, for this collection, it is adorable. So we're going to play a little bit with that next week. So we'll do that. And then what else? Where else can you see me coming up? So if you are a Kindred Stamps fan, we have our release coming up next Friday. I am kind of limited to what I can say, but I do have something very special for the release. But I can't say what. But that's okay. Actually had to very much make sure I didn't accidentally show any surprises when I was going through my stack of cards. Oh my gosh, you guys are all so sweet. Thank you all so very much for being here today. I have so much fun with you. These live streams really are a part of my week that I enjoy doing so very much. And I also love too, like some of my live streams I feel like recently have really been going into that hour-and-a-half territory, which for me has always felt a little on the longer side. So it's also nice to have a little bit of a mix where we're coming in right now and doing a card that we're at the hour and 3 minute mark. And I know if you take off my intro video and whatnot and a little bit of chatting, we did this card in less than an hour with not too much prep time. Oh yes, Megan says on the SCT YouTube channel too, be sure to keep a lookout. We've got some more fun inspiration coming your way from me with scrapbooking cards today. Actually, yeah, a chunk of it coming out soon. So that's really exciting now that I think about it, Megan. Thank you for the reminder. Oh my goodness, so many kind words. We have thank you, Lynn. Thank you, Kristen. Thank you, Sylvia, Barbara, Sherry, of course, Megan. Thank you, T. Thank you, Susan. You guys are all so sweet. If you have any questions about anything, never hesitate to drop them in the comments. Send me a message on Instagram at JustinNote by Justin, as you can see on the screen. And we've got some fun coming up. I will have another announcement next week that I can embellish on more, that I'm really excited to share with you guys. So stay tuned for more details. Check out the supply list if you haven't already. If there's anything from the Catherine Pooler release that you got to get your hands on, which you got to get that Boardwalk ink. Like, if I'm going to enable you to do anything, like, you need the Boardwalk ink color. If you're a Catherine Pooler lover, it is an absolute must. It's going to be one of my new favorites. I can tell you that right now. You guys are all amazing too. I love you all. Thank you for being here. I am going to sign off and try to go grab a Father's Day present before my in-laws come home. My goodness. Thank you all. Have a wonderful Father's Day, however you're celebrating or however you're remembering your loved ones. And I'll look forward to seeing you next week at 1 p.m. Goodbye.